platform, it's like, if we want to be a team that's, you know, kind of sniff that glory here and there, then it's kind of fine. If we want to get to the next level, of course, we need answers to these questions. Now, kind of touching on what you said with pre-season and the school of thoughts, I personally think it's in the middle. I think you can't say the result doesn't mean anything and things of that ilk, but I don't go too far, because I've seen us be effing amazing in pre-season and not do what we need to do. For me, though, it's more about the performance. Of course, like we touched on, you don't want to lose to Spurs. You don't want to lose 2 games in a row. You never want to lose any sort of game, especially when you're back at the Emirates. You got your star man up front and things of that ilk. It's all about the performance. I wouldn't say it's been bad or it has reasons to panic, but equally, I think it's still the same old. And I don't really see anything down the left-hand side. We're still very right-hand centric. I don't think we really move the ball quick enough. I don't want to do too much on Gyökeres and things, but that's what I was trying to say. In that it's one thing signing, you know, your Gyökeres, your Maduekes, whatever has you, but you're just going to have new players with the same old kind of issues. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, and that's where I'm a bit negative going into the season, but equally optimistic, because I do think things will click into place. Whether it will click into place fast enough, I don't know. I do want to ask you, that how do you feel about Gyökeres? Because on the face of it, I know people that are not connected to Arsenal, a lot of agendas were ran after 15 minutes in his first game and the minutes he played, and we know he's not really fully fit. But we do have attacking issues, right? Like, do you have confidence Mr. Mikel Arteta will be able to unlock things?
That's a very good question. Now, listen, first and foremost, I'm very happy with Gyökeres. I mean, I was one of those when there was, you remember the debate that was going back and forth for a while between him and Sesko. I was very firmly on the Gyökeres train. The amount of goals the guy scored, you simply cannot ignore that. We missed a proper number 9.
Facts.
Fair play to Havertz, he's done his best, and Jesus, but they're not what I call prolific strikers.
They're not killers in the box, man.
No, they're not. And even Jesus, who's a very talented footballer, he's a very creative footballer, very skillful. He's not what I would call prolific either. So we've needed a number 9. We needed somebody who can put the ball in the back of the net. And when you look across the 8 top leagues in Europe, Gyökeres' names would stand out. I mean, his goal scoring record, was it 97 goals in 102 games?
Ridiculous.
It's phenomenal. And okay, people are going to say, yeah, it's for Sporting, Portuguese league. But listen, he's still got to score the goals, bro. So I'm confident that he will do well at Arsenal. I think what we're seeing is in these 2 games is that he does look a little bit raw. And you have to also, well, I'm sure you appreciate this, Deluded, is that he's a different style of player to what we're used to up top. So it's going to take time for us to bed him in, you know what I mean, and get him playing, or get used to him and him get used to us. That's why I went back and forth with my brother Robbie for a while, because I was saying we needed to have got the Gyökeres deal done earlier, even if it cost us a few more million or whatever. I would have been in favor of that. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say, I'm not in charge of the purse strings, but that's the reason why you get these guys in early, right? And you bed them in, right? And then we have to get used to each other. Him with the players with him.
Just like Jesus and Zinchenko, to age your point, when we brought them in that first season.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to take a while, but I'm absolutely confident that he'll be the man for the job. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be interesting, actually, because I'm seeing today where Sesko's arriving in Manchester. He's going to do the deal for them. I think that's a good signing for United. But the likelihood is that Sesko and Gyökeres will be lining up against each other next Sunday. So that would be an interesting subplot for that game.
Fuel to the fire, man.
You know what I mean?
More interesting.
Yeah, but in answer to your question, yeah, I'm very confident that Gyökeres will be our man. In fact, I'm backing him to get 20 goals, league goals this season. Maybe a bit overly optimistic, but I think if you look at Arsenal, the way we play, right, when we're you know, when we're on it, we create, even when we're not on it, we create a lot of chances. I mean, even the other day, I was looking at the 2 games we lost in the preseason games. Yeah, we created 15 chances on goals in both those 2 games. You know what I'm saying? But we only scored what was it? Two goals. 2 goals, yeah. So what I'm saying is that if we create those amount of chances and we've got a fully fit and firing Gyökeres and we're used to his style of playing and he's used to our style of playing, sooner or later that is going to transmute into goals. I'm confident.
I hope so. So like kind of honing in on, you know, you made a good point, which is just facts, to be fair, and that Gyökeres has to adapt. We have to adapt to him. Do you like Is it more of a case of Gyökeres adapting to the system, or Mikel Arteta kind of changing his tactics to get the best out of Gyökeres then and put him in positions where you're going to score goals? And what I mean by that is we know he's going to have, in the modern day, you can't just stay up front. We know he's going to drop deep, pull out to the channels, etc. But equally, we just need to create chances, and we just want him to put the ball into the back of the net. And we have been calling for Arteta to do things differently. So, like, is it a thing where Gyökeres has to bend to the system, or does the system has to slightly change for him or anyone really?
I think the onus is on, we have to adapt to him. I mean, obviously, he will have to show a little bit of adaptability as well. You can't be a one-trick pony, especially in the Premier League. However, you can't bring in a guy of that status, pay that much money for him and not have a plan for him. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to, I'm sure they would have done their research on the guy. Yeah. And they would know what his strengths and his areas where he's not so strong are. You know what I mean? So, for example, the other day we were putting all these crosses into the box. People will tell you that watch Gyökeres a lot. He's not noted for his heading ability. You know what I mean? So that you can do that, but you can't do it ad nauseum because you're not playing to the guy's strengths. I mean, he was making, you saw the game, he was making runs and he wasn't receiving the ball early enough.
A couple times Lewis Kelly, I think, could have hit him a bit early and didn't. Yeah. Maybe that's what we're kind of alluding to.
Yeah, and it's things like that I'm talking about. So, you know, I mean, that will come in time, I'm sure of it. And yeah, I'm confident that the signing will work. We have to be, man. You know what I mean? He's there now.
We have got no choice, man. I mean, if I'm not gonna lie, obviously, if it doesn't work, then or there's a struggle, Gyökeres will have to answer questions off his own back. But equally, I will be looking at Arteta. Well, he scored a lot of goals for Coventry, he scores a lot of goals for his country, he scored a lot of goals for Sporting. I don't think it's as white and black, anyways, if we sign the best players in the world and they go up front and it's just we're happy as Larry. So I will be looking at him. But like you said,
Sweden.
I'm confident.
He scores goals for Sweden.
And when he plays for his country again, yeah. So like, if you're doing it everywhere but the Emirates, ooh, I'm gonna look at you, Gaffer. But I think he's gonna be all right. What I do think though is he's not gonna start against Man United. I know I'm jumping the gun. You got a couple training sessions. You got Bilbao. I actually think Kai Havertz will start. I genuinely think Kai will start.
I've heard it. I mean, listen, I can see that as well. But there's no point in buying Gyökeres, man, and just sticking him on the bench, bro. To me, I mean, me personally, I would start Gyökeres. I mean,
I would as well. Just get him up to speed, man.
Havertz missed the last game. He's got an injury. I don't know the nature of it. I'm being told it's not too serious. It'll be interesting to see who starts tomorrow. See, that's the other thing. Gyökeres needs minutes. He needs minutes because we need to...
he's behind fitness-wise.
Yeah. And not only is he behind fitness-wise because of the tumultuous fallout he had with Sporting, but like I said, we need to get used to his style of play and he needs to get used to us. That's only going to happen on the pitch. I mean, okay, you can do all the training stuff, which is fine, but you need to replicate that in match situations. So we don't want to be seeing him. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was a little disappointed when he came off because against
because we started creating some chances. Like I feel like Gyökeres chances when he came off, if I'm honest. Zubimendi came on. When Zubimendi came on and them kind of guys came on, I feel we created a lot more chances and there was a lot more like, you know, when you watch Gyökeres, obviously he scores glamorous goals, amazing goals, but the bread and butter is just simple finishes. He's just arriving at the right time. We was kind of putting in some cutbacks in which we weren't doing when Gyökeres was on the pitch. So I was disappointed. And also, as you said there, I think you need to get minutes. Now, of course, obviously, you got to be a bit cute and clever and rest him where you can and as well as expose him to minutes. But I felt he could have got significantly more minutes than he got, if I'm honest. So, I know Wenger used to do it where sometimes he'd sign players and probably the first 10 games of the season, I remember when he did it with Xhaka and that, they're not really starting, they're kind of adapting. For me, I don't want that with Gyökeres. Just throw the man in. As much as football's complicated and we're discussing a lot of nuances already in this opening 15 minutes, I think it's a bit basic. Like, just start the man. Like, let's not reinvent the wheel. Just start the man. Let him get up to speed. If anything, you know what Kai Havertz and maybe even Mikel Merino could bring. Which brings me on to midfield, yeah, because I actually haven't checked this year, but I was doing a live stream and I've been saying, oh yeah, Zubimendi's going to start. He's going to change our lives. Him and Rice and Ødegaard, this, that, and the third. And someone was like to me, do you think he starts this season? Because when you deep it, Norgaard has started more games than Zubimendi. And that provided me with a new perspective. Like, do you think Zubimendi or Norgaard will partner Rice in midfield against United?
That is an excellent question. It's funny because myself and Cecil, shout out Cecil, we were on a show yesterday and Cecil made a very good point. He was saying that based on what he's seen in pre-season and based on what type of game it's likely to be against Man United. He would prefer Norgaard to start over Zubimendi, given Norgaard's size, physicality, running ability, and obviously his experience in the Premier League. And I could see that happening. I mean, I think what you get, if you look at the two players, Norgaard and Zubimendi, they're both very good players, obviously. But with Norgaard, like I said, physical, 6'1", 2", Premier League battle tested, ready, very good athletically. I think if you look at his stats last season, he was in the top quartile for runs and stuff like that. So, yeah, so, and obviously he can score goals. We saw that the other day. I think he got 6 Premier League goals last season, so he can score. With Zubimendi now, I think what you're getting is his passing range is better. I think he's a technically more gifted footballer than Norgaard. So it could be one of them where the manager might look at Man United and think, well, what type of game is this likely to be? Will Man United, because their midfield is not so great, so it may be that they deploy the low block, even though they're at home, and try and catch us on the counter. So if we come up against a team like that, then it could be argued that Zubimendi might be the better option because his passing range is better and he might be able to find those little spaces, you know what I mean? A bit better than someone like Norgaard would. So it's an interesting question, man. I mean, I might be inclined to start with Zubimendi because I do think that United will sit back, will try and hit us on the counter. So I think that Zubimendi would get the nod. But if he starts with Norgaard, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, because he's been one of the plus points for me in the preseason. I don't know about you, but I think he has.
No, I think you're right, man, Laurie, in the sense that obviously where you look at Norgaard, he's not a sexy player, sexy signing, you know, and obviously Partey left, he came in. But I think he's quietly been going about his business. I do think, and I don't know how to explain it, but I think Norgaard's been good. I think like every game he's played, he's kind of grown and looked a bit more mature, if that makes sense. I think a lot of, I wouldn't call them problems, but I still think it's sinking into him that he's an Arsenal player and that obviously, as you said, he's been in the Premier League, he's been at the Emirates, he's played against us, he's played for his country. But I genuinely think where you look at the Arsenals, the Liverpools, Man United, you could throw City in there. I think you only really deep the size of the club and how crazy the fans are and all that stuff when you're obviously in there. And obviously he's been in Asia and then you throw in the complications around the system that you have to learn. I wouldn't say he struggled or struggle's a bad thing, but it's a lot of information to obviously input. And I think game in, game out, he's got better in that regards. And you made a good point. If they're gonna, if we're gonna kind of gonna go off against Man United, that you know we expect it maybe to be an end-to-end game, and Norgaard knows the league, then fair enough. Equally, if we're playing low blocks, then Zubimendi's picking the lock. So it'd be interesting. Where you at with Ødegaard? Because I must admit, I think people have been a bit dishonest with Ødegaard in pre-season. I can't lie. I'm not saying he's been amazing, but I think there's frustration from last season, and they're not. You can criticize his ability. I'm not saying he's been amazing in preseason, but I don't feel there's an element of calling it as you see it. But where are you at with Martin?
I think that he's. I think some of the criticism's been unfair, to be honest, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, some people have been slaughtering him. I'm like, nah, man. I think. Listen, he's not like blowing up any trees, but he's been steady. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I'm seeing bits and pieces here where he is trying to. He's trying to be a bit more direct. He's trying to have more shots on goal. I've noticed that. Not all of them have been successful.
Yeah.
You can't doubt his running, his pressing. He presses from the front. He's still doing that.
Ankle looks good now.
The energy looks good. He looks like to be somebody that knows that this is a big season for him. I'm seeing that in his just his body language and the way he's approaching certain games. Listen, man, I think he's done all right. I mean, listen, he's not been outstanding, and you know, inevitably coming off that last season that he had where he was disappointing, let's be honest, there's going to be pressure on him, man. He's the captain. He's one of the senior players in the team. He plays a very pivotal role in the team, that number 10. So there is pressure there, you know what I'm saying? But I think people need to ease up and give him some slack, man. He's not been that bad. I've heard some people really, he should be dropped. Nah, not for me. He can get better and he will get better. I do rate the guy, man.
I rate him, but he just needs to pull his finger out next season.
Yeah,
just shut people up, man.
Yeah, he does need to step his game up because, like I said, two things we need to understand about Ødegaard. Number one, he's a captain, you know what I'm saying? And that is a big role, especially in a team like Arsenal. Number 2, the position he plays in the team, number 10, is very pivotal to the way we play. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a big season for him, as it is for Arsenal. And I'm sure that has not escaped his attention. You know what I'm saying?
So let's throw Nwaneri into this then. Like, what did you make? What have you made of Nwaneri? What did you make of Nwaneri against Villarreal? Because for me, I think he started well, and then he got a bit quiet. I still need, there's a bit more to go, and I think he needs to probably learn how to impact the game a bit more across 90 minutes. Not necessarily, you know, the sexy getting the ball on the half turn and playing the killer pass, but more like kind of being proactive. And I expect that. The man's 17, 18, but what have you made of him? Because it's a big season for him, no?
No, listen, man, I'm a big fan of Nwaneri, man. I've right from when he come in, I said to him, I gave him that label that for me, he's the most exciting young talent in the Premier League last season. And I stand by that, man. You know what I mean? He's great to watch. He's direct, full of running, fearless, likes to shoot. And yeah, I hear what you say about sometimes he needs to impact games a bit more, but sometimes I think he gets taken off in games a bit early for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously in pre-season, he's not going to play the full 90. I get that. But I think he's been one of the pluses of the pre-season. You know what I mean? I think he's in that little cabal of players. Him, Max Dauman, Saliba, Norgaard, Zubimendi.
Saliba's been very good, man.
Aka as well. Them man have done themselves justice on the pre-season tour. So, and let's be honest, man, he's a great option. I think, let's be honest, Ødegaard is likely to start these games, right? But if you're looking for an impact player to come off the bench, if Ødegaard's not quite working out, then Ethan is perfect for that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he'll do well this season, I'm sure. Still young, lots of energy. I love his attitude. He's fearless. Like I said, he's direct. You see him when he picks up the ball, man. His first intention is to drive at the defenders.
I'm going forward, yeah.
And he wants to make things happen. That's beautiful to see, bro. That's what we
exciting, man. We need them kind